Topic 4.5, Solving Addition and Subtraction Equations. All right, so what we've already done is evaluated some expressions or number sentences. Today what we're going to be doing is using addition and subtraction to find the value of a variable, but as an equation, inside an equation. So pay attention. For the next couple lessons, I'm going to be referring back to this balance scale. Okay. Here we have a balance scale in science, zeroed out. Both sides are equal. If I were to add something over to this side, we would have to do the same thing to this side to get it back with the same amount, same mass, to get it to balance out. If I were to remove something on this side, I'd also have to do the same thing over here to keep it equal. So I want you to be thinking about that as we're talking about these equations. Whatever we do to one side has to be done to the other side. So both sides of the equal sign remain equal. I'm going to give you a scenario, and I want you to solve it your own way, but pay attention to how you're solving this problem, and we'll talk about it on the next slide. Let's say we've got two school buses here that are wanting to take students on a field trip. There are 31 students on this second bus here. If the number of students on the first bus plus the number of students on the second bus equals 63, how many students are on this first bus? Maybe rewind the video, get all the data again, solve that, and then come back when you've got your answer. Alright, you probably took the total number of students, 63, and then subtracted the 31 on the second bus, and then that would have gotten you 32 students on this bus. In algebra, you can often write an equation to represent information like this in a problem. An equation is a number sentence that uses an equal sign, and what you do is you set it up where both sides are always equal, and that's how you solve that. So let's see if we can turn this into an equation on the next slide. So what must we find to solve the problem? That's right, we got to find out how many students are on this bus. And what did we already know? That there were how many on the second bus? 32, and that there was a total of 63 total students in all. So what equation can we write to show the total number of students? And we're going to use a variable. So let's just go ahead and set this equation up. So something equals 63. So we have to set it up where what's on the left side over here equals 63. Well, we don't know the number of students on this bus here. Let's go ahead and call that B. So B plus 32 equals 63. You probably did it the way that we did in the last slide, where you have just rack and stack and solve the problem. Got the right answer, but now we're starting to think algebra here. So what we need to do is we need to get all the variables on one side of the equal symbol and then all the numbers on the other. So we're going to leave B where it is. So how can we get it to end up with B equals blank? Well, we got to get rid of this 32. So how can we get rid of a plus 32? Use the opposite operation. That would be B plus 32, follow me on this, minus 32. Okay? That's going to get rid of that 32, isn't it? Just leave B. But remember the scale. Whatever you do on one side of the problem, you have to do to the other in order for it to balance. So the B plus 32 minus 32 equals 63, and do the same thing on the other side, minus 32. So when you're doing this, the plus 32 minus 32, that's going to cancel out, isn't it? And leave just B. There's your equal symbol. So on the right side, we have 63 minus 32. That's going to leave us 31. Simple. I know it's easy the other way, but we're doing the basics for algebra. So let's try a couple more problems like this. Let's say that there are 57 students in the school band. 29 of them are boys. Okay? So how many girls are in the band? And again, we've got a total of 57. So setting this up, I know you want to just take 57 and minus the 29 and get the answer. We're going to set this up as an equation. So something equals 57. So we have 29 plus, let's say G, equals 57. So how are we going? Well, let's go ahead and leave the G on the left side here. So how can we get rid of that 29? We get a plus 29 there. So we're going to get a minus 29. So let's do 29 minus the 29 plus the G equals 57 minus 29. Now, why are we doing this over on this side? Again, because whatever we do over here, we have to do over here to balance the equation. So 29 minus 29 is going to cancel that out, and you're left just with G. So when you have 57 minus the 29, that's going to give you 28. So G equals 28. That means that there are 28 girls in the band. Did you follow that? Painful, I know, but we're doing the basics of operation, of algebra here. This one's a little different. See if you can follow along. Maybe write the equation down with me as well. All right, let's say that we have a Tony. He gave away 12 samples of homemade soap, and then he had 51 samples remaining. So how many samples of soap did he have to start off with? And we'll use X in this equation. So keywords, I would say to start off with, right? So, and then he gave away 12 samples. So we're using what operation? We're going to be doing subtracting. So let's say X. X is what he had to start off with. And then he gave away 12. And then he has how many remaining? 51. So I think that equation fits. X minus 12 equals 51. Let me read the problem again and see if it matches. Tony gave away 12 samples of homemade soap. He had 51 remaining. So how many samples did he have to start off with? This looks pretty good to me. So let's go ahead and solve this. X minus 12 equals 51. We're going to get just the X on that left-hand side of the equal sign. So we got to get rid of a minus 12. How do we get rid of a minus 12? We're going to add 12. So we have X minus 12 plus 12. And that's going to get rid of that. Equals 51. And whatever we did over here, we have to do over here. So add the 12 there. That cancels out. We're left just with X. X equals 51 plus 12. That's going to get us 63. He had 63 samples of soap. Let's see if we can come up with an equation for one of those bar problems. Let's say that we'll say this is R, and this is 163, and the total, we'll say the total length of the bar is 645. We've got 645, 163, and R. Can you come up with an equation that would involve that variable there? We can do an addition problem or subtraction problem. Let's go ahead and do the addition problem. We got 163 plus R equals 645. Get that R on its own over here on the left. We're going to have to do a 163 minus a 163 plus R equals 645 minus 163. Why did I do this over here? Because that's what we did over here. Balance it out. So that do that, cancels those out. We got R equals 645 minus 163. would give us 482. All right, you have just one question over here to answer. Good luck with that, and I'll see you in the morning.